Hello, Froggy here, and today I'll be giving you a partial guide on how to get into Quarantine Sector 236. I say partial guide because I'll be showing you the interdimensional res breach that Eternity and I used to get into it the first time. We, however, already had someone outside of the box, so we didn't have to worry about an auto-rez. We're not revealing that method just yet in the hopes that it will survive to Witch Queen. There is an EDZ auto-rez within the arms dealer strike if you kill the boss before you get to the top, but unfortunately that comes with a timer. So first I'm going to show you an IRB that we didn't use. It is much easier than the other one. So if we get a full IRB, it might be the way to go. So we're over in Sojourner's camp, and we're going to set our ghost position on the middle of this middle platform. Basically anywhere will work, but the platform makes for a nice known landmark. With our ghost point set, we can fast travel over to the sludge. Naturally, if you're in the strike, you'll have to take the long route, but that won't be too much trouble. The important part is that you don't die. Until you need to die, that is. Never have too much dusk light.
Looks like the Fallen are bringing in a glimmer drill. Keep a sharp lookout.
So we're just going to use the normal Dark Force out of map here. And we'll be going past the load zone to hit it from behind so that we can die for step 2 of the IRB.
Glimmer mining crew.
Shut them down.
I'd recommend Stasis Titan because the grenade can be a lifesaver if you find yourself about to fall. This area is a bit tricky because you're going through kind of pushbacks. I like landing on this platform here. I came in a bit too low, so I'm sword flying for height gain. So just go high here and go right into that corner. This position, however, is fairly far away from where we're going to. So let's move on to the other one. So for this one, you'll need to be on a hunter. You could possibly do it on a Titan. I will link some helpful guides for that below. But trust me when I say that that method is far harder than what I'm about to show you here. We're going to be blade barraging over that blue barrier. You'll want to have stompies on with high jump and as much mobility as you can get. This isn't the easiest technique to do, but at least it's relatively fast to retry, provided you can just fast travel to a flag. So we'll be going up on this slanted roof, and there are some funny things about how this works. The hunter jump actually has a decent amount of barrier push to it. So you can see we get reasonably high up on that roof just jumping. Now, if we were to try to use our normal jump and jump from higher up, we wouldn't get nearly as high. So you can see there I got not quite as far, but jumping from much lower I actually made it higher. So you're going to want to just back off this railing and then activate your jump in air. And probably try that a few times so you can get a feel for it. When we actually blade barrage, we're going to want to face slightly to the left, and then swing more to the left as we go. As you can see, I just nimbly went over. When I was first trying this, I was placing some stasis a little bit below the platform so that I didn't have to worry about hitting my head as much. If you're having troubles with that, you can try that method. And see, I got quite high indeed there. And here's one more view of it. This took me a while to figure out, but now that I know about the whole dropping off and jumping things, it's far easier. You either want to face in the direction you're going, or directly away. From here, we head to the world's easiest Sparrow breach. Just going to throw back on triple jump for later. This can be used to get into either Lake of Shadows or Hangman's Pass. We're going to need to make a pit stop in Hangman's Pass for later on, so we'll head out that way. If you want, you can use some stasis crystals to augment jumping here, but you can also get away with a little sparrow fly. We're going into this little cubby here. It takes a little bit of practice, but if you can sparrow fly, it's not too bad. There's some water over here, and we'll be making our way along this water the entire way that it goes. There's a lot of death barriers, so be careful. For instance, here's one. Generally you should have res points, so messing up isn't that bad. Just make sure you drop a little bit, otherwise you will definitely die. There's also a invisible obstruction there. You can either jump in before it and then jump around it, or just go fast so that you can do it all in one go, which is what I'll be showing here. So now we're at the end, and we need to get on top of that tunnel there. On Hunter, we'll probably need to do a little sparrow fly. There's a bunch of different areas you can dip back up top here. To the left there's also a gap. And now we load Hangman's Pass. As soon as you hit the load, you can jump off the map to spawn on the inside. At this point, I'm switching back to Titan. Hunters have good barrier push, but they're not good at flying the length of the Dark Forest. Worst case, if we don't get an IRB, at least you can use this to check out Hangman's Pass. It's been a long time since it was used in the game. We went there for Curse of Osiris, for like the second mission or something, and I don't remember if we've really used it anywhere else. But anyways, I'm sure there's a lot of D2 players these days who have never even been here. We've got the nice little radio tower, and you can go check out the inside of it. At certain times of day, you see a very odd lighting effect out there, but fog's not right for it, so we'll skip that. But this isn't really what we're here for. We want to head to the other tunnel. So, full disclosure, after I went this path, I was Calabrese errored a little bit after exploring the other side. So you might not want to take the detour. Instead, I'd recommend taking this path. We're just going to Sparrow fly up the cliffside here and go directly to the other side. I don't know that this actually protects you, but when I did this, I didn't get error coded, so maybe it helps. It's also perhaps the only hope we have of doing this on arms dealer, because getting back through those few barriers will be quite difficult. But if we're able to skip whatever changes our default spawn, you might be able to get all the way back to the start of Maevic Square from one death. So you just want to position yourself roughly where I am, and set our ghost position. Just giving you a nice view of where my ghost is. So with the existing timer, it is theoretically possible to reach Quarantine Sector for a few seconds, which isn't much, but it's something. I'm gonna go ahead and show you the process of hitting this IRB again before I get to what happens once you've successfully made it out there.
Ooh, that's a pretty pile of glimmer. Hold them off while I transmit this.
I would highly recommend having someone hold on to the Hangman's Pass load, like Gerbsnail is doing for me here. Because if you die, you'll need to get back there, and you probably don't want to redo the Hunter path. So this part can be a little bit tricky to hit. If you mess up badly, you can sometimes use stasis to save yourself and fast travel again. If things don't go quite according to plan, you might hit the load and survive. If that happens to you, with a bit of quick thinking, you can recover and not have to go through the setting of your Rezzed point again. I threw a stasis nade, and I'm trying to get my grenade back because I'm forgetting that I should just be fast traveling as fast as possible. So we can try that again. If we can find a way to get rid of that pesky timer in arms dealer.
One giant heap of glimmer incoming.
My word, you'll have to keep some for yourself, you know.
Anyways, once you've hit this one, your ghost will be rather close to Quarantine Sector. A short sword fly away. Speaking of which, this clip is from Eternity's view. I failed to hit the IRB, and there was no real purpose in trying to hit it when he was going to hit the load. As you can see, the timing for getting there is pretty tight, but with Code of the Missile or something like that, you should be able to make it in time. I need to get oriented down there and then I can make it to Maevic. Just gotta figure out a nice way back past the blue wall. Nice.
Yo.
Have you loaded it? Well, it would be indifferent. It wouldn't matter if you died to the load. Alright. And now I'm going to get the easy Quarantine Sector. Well, now that we're here, let's take a look around. Got the nice, eerie, dark forest green sky. And if we head this direction, we'll hit the load zone. Normally there would be a bunch of portals to move around these areas, but naturally those aren't active, so you just get this weird stuff. It's kind of a neat effect. Well, anyways, the top of this isn't actually covered, so it's pretty easy to get out of. I'd recommend using your ghost for some scan lines so you can get a feel for the terrain. Naturally, if you really wanted to, you could just throw a stasis grenade and hop right up. But that would be cheating. You can get up with a normal jump. Once you're a little bit above, you'll see an abrupt lighting change, and that'll make it a lot easier to see where you're going. You want to head out towards the power lines to make it to the rest of the map. So it is a little known fact that there are multiple versions of Quarantine Sector 236. This is, I believe, one of the ones we go to when we get back some form of light. But that building has no inside in this version. Whereas I think the Spark Mission one does, which means no going to that hole in the fence that I've longed to visit for so long. That one's also connected to the Blackened Forest. It's totally not dark. We've got a Scannable here, and much like other Scannables of this type, it does nothing. Got some more rubble here. And if we come back into this cave, we will see one of them fancy White Cabal. I've been told this is a D1 style? I'm not really sure, but you sometimes see them out of map, like back when we had the Menagerie, where there were a couple of these guys chilling way outside the map. So Nixara over there joined to help hold this load so that we could keep it overnight. And he ran into some pretty cool stuff. He's the one who found these guardian statues. Let's go take a look. Hello. And we've marked them with sparrows so they're easier to find. They're kind of almost camouflaged here. And there's another one over here. Although, this one's mostly through the ground. We'll come back to him in a bit. Not sure why it's partially through the ground, but then again, not really sure why it's there at all. And this is interesting. I don't remember if these were always here in Quarantine Sector, but I definitely didn't notice them before. It seems any charged melee type attack will... Huh. Well, that was odd. Anyways, any charged melee type attack seems to break those, but we didn't actually test if, say, Warlock Fiery Melee would do it, or anything like that. Now let's go out of map here. There's some interesting things that we can see from below as well. We're just going to climb up to this bit of hill. Around where we originally dropped down, and there's actually a hole in the rocks up here. As you probably noticed from all the sparrows we had sitting around, you can in fact summon here, which is rather convenient for sparrow flying. And here we've got perhaps the biggest M1 box that I've seen. Eternity ran into that one. Now let's see if we can go take a look at one of those guardian statues. They pop up occasionally, though definitely not too common. Cloud found one on Europa for one of the Exo challenges, and I think that's probably the most recent one added to the game. But here we are, You can see the top half sticking through the ground, but the bottom standing on land. No clue why, though. Perhaps we'll never know. So, coming all the way out this way, this is probably the closest you can get to the Shard of the Traveler. You can enjoy these hexagon tiles in all their glory. Really does make me think of Corridors of Time. But yeah, this is a very neat area. It's also pretty close to where the load for galaxy pools would be. Of course, that load is in Dark Forest, so you won't find it in Quarantine Sector. However, I am reasonably confident that you could sword fly from the position that I showed earlier. Using nice sword flying technique and whatever remains of stasis sword flying, you might have enough distance to make it out there, especially combined with the tractor beam that pulls you in. Hopefully we'll find a good EDZ auto-res, and then visiting the galaxy pools might even become easy. But in the meantime, I will leave you with some more footage of tree carnage.